some 50 years since 1961. The president is going to be received there by the crowds of people who are waiting on the island there. As we all know, the people of Puerto Rico on the mainland do not vote in presidential elections. However, most of the people that are here and registered in the United States from Puerto Rico are able to vote, and this is a huge overture to the Hispanic community, and especially to what's going on coming up in the presidential race. A key demographic that puts a priority on education, jobs, is the Hispanic community. But right now, an unemployment rate of nearly 12% has these voters struggling in a very slow growth economy. California Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez joins me now to talk more about this. Congresswoman, it's great to have you on this morning. I want to talk about the political power of Hispanics, certainly a growing trending political bloc that politicians are aware of. So how do you think the president's trip to Puerto Rico today is going to help him with the voters? And also, how do you think he's going to be able to best convey his message to this group?
Well, first of all, remember that President Obama has been to Puerto Rico before. Now he's going as our president. That's a very important signal to the Puerto Ricans. Remember that there are now more Puerto Ricans in the mainland United States than on the island, and that they really take politics very seriously, and they're in very key states. In Florida, for example, in that Orlando corridor. They are now in Georgia and North Carolina. Of course, they've been in New York for a long time, so that's important. But also in giving President Obama the chance to talk with what is a Spanish-speaking territory, if you will, it's also going to send a message to Mexican Americans and to others who are immigrants in the United States who speak Spanish that, you know, this president cares about the Hispanic community. And I think that's very important as we start to kick off what is becoming the election cycle.
Congresswoman, I want to point out some recent polling that's been done. Some really strong numbers. 2/3 of Hispanic voters are behind the president, but it's still very early. As you point out, we're ramping up to this election cycle. What does he need to do the rest of the way to keep or even expand that number, especially with this visit to Puerto Rico? Do you think that statehood is still in the cards, something that the president has talked about before?
Well, certainly a lot of us have been on the statehood side, and that's a very big issue. It's the #1 issue for Puerto Ricans, whether they're there or they're on the mainland. But really, for all Hispanics, and I think for all Americans right now, it's about the economy, the economy, the economy. Give us jobs. And I think there are a lot of ways in which the president can really get to the Hispanic community on this. First, a Build American program. That means that we construct infrastructure. If we do that, we're putting Americans back to work, and we're also putting a lot of Latinos back to work. Secondly, invest in our people in education. One of the problems that the Hispanic community has had is that we have lower education attainment. So the new jobs that are being created, the research and the engineering and the stem cell research and all these types of things, a lot of us are not at that point educationally where we can actually get those jobs. And so, for example, in Orange County, California, where I represent, we have those jobs available. We don't have the applicants to actually take those jobs. So education and infrastructure. And if we continue to focus in that arena, I think that the president will see Hispanics come in droves in this election.
Congresswoman Sanchez, great to have you on this morning. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, in the wake of his Twitter photo scandal, Representative Anthony Weiner is now seeking treatment. And on her way out of a meeting of the Democratic caucus just moments ago, Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi said she still stands by her call for Congressman Weiner to step down.
I wanted to be sure that they knew why I came to the conclusion that with the love of his family, the confidence of his constituents, and the need for help, that Congressman Weiner should resign from the Congress. I'm never prouder of my colleagues than in times of challenge like this.
There we have it just moments ago, Nancy Pelosi, in her recent comments on Congressman Weiner. For today's Sound-Off segment, we asked, why is it that bad decisions these days are often recast as a sign of illness or sickness? And does this kind of medicalizing of bad public behavior actually reduce the personal accountability for the choices that we all can make? To take these questions, MSNBC contributor Melissa Harris-Perry joins us now from New Orleans. Melissa, good to see you. She is a professor, as you all know, as she is on our hour, a lot of political science at Tulane, also a columnist promised for the nation. Melissa, this is the type of story right now